So I've got 24 people in the team, myself included in this, and you're a team member first. No matter when you're a leader or a follower, you're a team member first. You're part of a group, and everyone's equal in the social side of things. In a workplace, on an Antarctic station, in a family, you might have a hierarchy, but you're all still members of the team. And I then had to sit there and go, okay, how do I break the news to this group of people that signed up for 12 months? They promised their friends, their family, their partners, their kids, don't worry, I'll be home next Christmas. Dad's only going away for a year, or mum's away for a year, or whatever it is. I then had to go and break the news to them to say, okay, outside of your control, we're not going home as planned, and we don't even know when we'll get home. And we don't even know what home looks like anymore, thanks to everything that was going on back home. So I did two things, and there's a few key lessons out of that I'll share with you tonight. The toughest one was to go, okay, you can blame the government for not having the ships ready earlier, blame this, blame that. It didn't matter. It wasn't our fault, but it was our problem to deal with. So straight away, get on the front foot, reframe it, and take control of the situation and go, okay, what can we control? We can control what we do on station, and we can control how we face this challenge. So before I broke it to the team, I spoke to my deputy station leader, who was a wintering chef. She'd had a lot more Antarctic experience than I had. We had a quick chat. And then I thought, okay, let's face this full on. Let's face this in a manner that would be fitting of, the historical and heroic age of Antarctic exploration, but also in the truest sense of human adventure. That yeah, it's great to go to Antarctica or go off on an adventure and it all goes to plan. But I can tell you firsthand, you won't get a book deal if it goes to plan. You'll only get it if it goes a little bit pear-shaped. One of the other challenges though was out of that team of 24, there was one member in particular who couldn't quite understand it. Working with him, working with the team around him to convince him that, hey, yes, it doesn't matter that they could have done this plan differently. Yes, other nations could have helped us, all these different things. One member of the team was just sitting there going, but I'm supposed to go home. I want to go home. I need to go home. The one thing he wanted, we couldn't give him. And I want to give you all the details of how we dealt with that situation. That was something that as a leader, I sat there going, I always wanted to have a leadership challenge. I always wanted to be an Antarctic station leader. But then when you get that challenge, how do you actually deal with it? And how do you deal with a situation that when you're doing everything out of the playbook, you're going to every theory, you're reading every book, you're chatting to the psychs, you're chatting to the HR team, and you're sitting there going, every night, every dinner table, every breakfast table, every station meeting, every day, that team would sit there and look at me and go, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing tomorrow? When are we going home? What's home even going to look like? And day in, day out for 537 days, I had to face that challenge. The main things I learned out of that though was two or three things. Number one, on your darkest days, get out of bed and do something that you want to do for you. There were days that I woke up and sat there and go, I don't want to leave the door. I don't want to go outside the front door, because the minute I do that, people are going to ask me questions. They're going to look at me. They know something's gone wrong again, that we're going to stay even longer and that something else is going to change. So I'd wake up and go, okay, what can I do for me? And I can get up and I can do some push-ups, I can do some stretches, I can call someone, I can do something I want to do for why I want to get out of bed that's going to make me feel good about myself. And sure enough, every time you do your max reps, push-ups, you do it again, and you do it until you feel good. And then you go out and face the questions in the breakfast table, which would happen every day. And there's some great stories in the book about how you deal with people who ask you stupid questions before you've even cooked your toast. The other one was looking forward to moments like this. As I sat there at different times, staring off into the distance, and it's certainly a place where you can absolutely remember to look out the window and enjoy it, and going and count the penguins is often something that will take your mind off all the different challenges. But making sure that you sat there as a team and went, okay, as much as we all want to go home right now, one day we'll look back on this, and this will be a life-defining moment for every member of that team to go, where were you during 2020? And you go, well, I've got a story for you. And those moments to sit there, the darkest days, the coldest nights, and going, but one day we'll all get, if we all get home safely, this will be a hell of a story to tell, and we'll look back and be able to remember fondly that. And strangely enough, out of the team of 24, which, when you spend, the former director of the Antarctic program used to describe the stations as ski resorts. I used to say, I'm like, look, yes, it might have a library and a spa and a kitchen and a pool table and a bar. But if you spend a year and a half at a ski resort with 24 people, I guarantee you won't all be friends at the end of it. And strangely enough, the 24 of us now, whilst I wouldn't say we're all friends, we're certainly a family. And that was one of the interesting lessons out of it, that as a leader, yes, you might be in charge of things, you might have a role to play, and everyone will have their different roles within that, you will become a family, and as a leader, representative leadership is probably one of the most important elements. At the end of the day, you are part of that team, and you need to represent that team and make decisions that are for the greater good of the community and the operations at the same time as well. And then strangely about our scenario, and I do a lot of work with CEOs and corporates and all sorts of others as well, and at the end of the day, you go, if you can't look your team in the eye, justify the decisions you've made, and then sit down and have dinner with them at the end of the day as well, you're probably not doing it full justice, or you're making decisions that are too far one way than the other. You do represent your team. Yes, you also represent the shareholders or the board and all those other people as well. Lead the team you've got. And that's one of the final things I'll do. I haven't even looked at the clock. I'm sure I'm probably either well over or well under. Is to lead the team you've got for the situation you face.